Been married to Sarah for 20 years. College sweethearts, the whole 9 yards. Built a good life together. Nice house, great kid. Thought we had it all. Well, guess what? Turns out happily ever after can take a sharp turn at. Never saw that coming lame. Booked a surprise flight back early from a business trip. Thought I'd surprise Sarah with takeout and a movie night. Key in the door, expecting the usual flickering TV, smell of her jasmine candles. Hit with silence instead. Empty house. Weird. Stomach started churning. Checked the bedrooms. Master door was unlocked. A sliver of light peeked out. Pushed the door open slowly. There it was. Like a scene from a bat soap opera. Sarah. Tangled in the sheets with some random dude. Rage. Yep, there was rage. But mostly a cold emptiness. Didn't yell. Didn't scream. Just a strangled noise that escaped my throat. The dude scrambled out of bed. Fumbled for his clothes and bolted. Sarah. Tears, apologies, a babbling mess. Didn't hear a word. Just stood there, the picture of betrayal hanging in the air. That's when the plan started forming. Didn't want a screaming match throwing things. Needed to be clear-headed, strategic. Feigned acceptance, told her we'd talk in the morning. Spent the night on the couch, the image of them burned into my brain. Morning light brought a strange kind of calm. Pretended everything was normal while secretly gathering evidence. Phone records, receipts, anything to prove what happened. Hired a lawyer, a shark. The kind who takes no prisoners, especially cheating spouses. Sarah noticed the lawyer. Panic set in. She tried talking, pleading. Didn't care. The truth would come out and she'd pay. The lawyer was good. Found hidden bank accounts, a trail of secret art sales Sarah had been keeping from me. Turns out, while I was grinding away at work, she was playing the starving artist with a secret stash. The divorce was brutal. Exposed the affair in court filings. Sarah became the town pariah. The other guy vanished without a trace. Justice, in a way. Got full custody of our son. He needed stability, away from the wreckage of our marriage. Sold the house, a fresh start for both of us. It wasn't easy. Therapy sessions helped me and my son navigate the emotional fallout. Leaned on old friends for support. Slowly, tentatively started dating again. Met someone new recently. She's kind funny, everything Sarah wasn't at the end. Still a work in progress, but I'm moving on. Learned a harsh lesson, but one that made me stronger. There's life after betrayal, and sometimes revenge is best served cold, calculated, and with a killer lawyer by your side. Life with a newborn wasn't easy, but it was good. Sleepless nights, mountains of laundry, the usual. Sarah seemed happy, the baby healthy. Then things started changing slowly at first. Remember that whole focusing on her art career thing? Seemed forgotten. No more late nights in the studio, paints collecting dust. Work became my world. Climbing the corporate ladder to support our growing family. Didn't mind. That's what husbands do, right? Then came the weird stuff. Little things at first. Unexplained charges on the credit card. A new perfume I didn't recognize clinging to her clothes. Ignored it. Figured I was just tired. Big mistake. The late nights working on art started. Calls taken with hushed voices out of earshot. Missed dinners. Excuses that never quite fit. I tried talking to her, asking what was wrong. Just brushed me off, said I was overreacting. One night I came home to an empty house. No Sarah, no baby, just the cold, knowing feeling in my gut. Called her phone, went straight to voicemail. That's when the suspicion really hit. Where was she? With who? The next morning, Sarah waltzed in like nothing was wrong. Tried to play it cool, but the guilt was etched on her face. Confronted her, demanded the truth. Stuttered excuses, tears, the whole drama queen routine. Didn't buy it. Something bigger was going on. That's when I knew this wasn't just a rough patch. This was betrayal, and I wasn't going to let her get away with it. Didn't yell. Didn't scream. Just a quiet determination settled in my gut. Sarah would regret the day she messed with our family. The game was on. Those late-night art meetings were starting to grate on me. Came home one night, expecting the usual takeout containers littering the counter. Sarah hunched over a canvas with paint-splattered overalls. Nope. Empty house. Silence so thick you could cut it with a knife. Checked her studio untouched. No paints, no brushes, just a layer of dust. A knees coiled in my gut. Where was she? Called her phone again. Voicemail for the third night in a row. Texted. Where are you? One word reply. Busy. Busy with what? That was the question gnawing at my sanity. The next morning, Sarah breezed in, all smiles and apologies. Claimed she'd been at a committee meeting that ran late. Committee meeting? For her art club that didn't exist anymore? My patience was wearing thin. Committee meeting, huh? My voice was flat, emotionless. Sarah's smile faltered. Yeah, for the upcoming gallery show. Liar. There was no gallery show. I knew it and she knew I knew it. Didn't press her then, but the seed of doubt had been planted. Started noticing other things. Those little unexplained charges on the credit card? More frequent now, and for things Sarah would never buy, fancy restaurants, jewelry stores. The phone calls. Always on mute. Always hushed whispers when I walked into the room. The lingering scent of a cologne I didn't recognize. These weren't random occurrences. This was a pattern, and the picture it painted wasn't pretty. One evening, Sarah left her phone unattended. Stupid mistake. A notification popped up, a text from an unknown number. My heart hammered in my chest. Curiosity, or maybe a morbid sense of dread, took over. Clicked on the message. It was short, just a few words, but enough to shatter my world. Can't wait to see you tonight, beautiful. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a late art meeting or a committee dinner. This was something far worse. The truth was staring me in the face, and I knew then my life was about to change forever. The lingering scent of that cologne was driving me crazy. It wasn't just on her clothes anymore. It seemed to cling to her like a second skin. Asked her about it. Said it was a new art supply. She was trying. Yeah, right. Art supplies don't smell like expensive cologne shops. Then came the weekend getaway. Need some inspiration for a new piece, she said. Booking a cabin in the woods for herself. Didn't like it, but what could I say? Maybe some time alone would clear her head. The empty house felt strange. A hollow echo of the life we once had. Missed Sarah. Missed our son, but mostly missed the feeling of normalcy. The conference dragged on, presentations and meetings blurring together. Just wanted to get back home, get some answers. Booked an earlier flight, a surprise for Sarah. Figured a home-cooked meal and a movie night might mend things. Landed. Grabbed takeout, keys in hand, picturing a cozy evening. Nope. Reality check time. Walked in the door, expecting the usual flickering TV, smell of her jasmine candles. Hit with silence instead. Empty house. Same feeling of dread as before. Where was she? With who? This time I wasn't going to let it slide. Checked the bedroom, then the bathroom. Nothing. But then a glimmer of hope. Her phone was on the kitchen counter. Screen lit up. Stupid mistake number 2. Picked it up, heart pounding. The same text message notification from before. Clicked on it, bracing myself. This time it wasn't just a few words. It was a full-blown conversation. A lovey-dovey exchange that made my stomach churn. Didn't need to read the whole thing. Enough was enough. The pieces of the puzzle finally clicked into place. The late nights, the perfume, the weekend getaway. It was all there, black and white. A digital betrayal staring me in the face. Anger surged through me, hot and potent. But then a cold logic settled in. Panic wouldn't help. Needed a plan. Needed revenge. Served cold and calculated. Sarah had shattered our life, and I wouldn't let her get away with it. The game was on, and this time I was playing to win. Didn't even slam the phone down. Just stared at the screen, the sickening confirmation burning into my brain. Betrayal. Raw and unfiltered. My wife in our bed with another man. The life I thought we had, shattered in a million pieces. First came the rage. Blind, primal fury that choked the air out of my lungs. Wanted to scream, to tear things apart. But then, something unexpected happened. The rage receded, replaced by a cold, steely calm. Dangerous calm. Sarah walked in then, all smiles and "How was your trip?" Didn't flinch. Just played along, the evidence burning a hole in my pocket. Needed to keep her off guard, buy time for my plan. Good, I said, voice flat. Early flight, figured I'd surprise you. Her smile faltered for a second, just a flicker of unease I didn't miss. The next few days were a blur. We slept in separate rooms, a tense silence hanging heavy in the air. Sarah kept trying to talk, to explain. Ignored her. Didn't need her lies, not anymore. Focused on gathering proof. Downloaded phone records, checked credit card statements. Hired a lawyer, a shark my friend recommended. The kind who takes no prisoners, especially cheating spouses. Costly but worth every penny. The lawyer was good. Found hidden bank accounts, a trail of secret art sales Sarah had been keeping from me. Turns out, while I was grinding away at work supporting our family, she was playing the starving artist with a secret stash. Livid doesn't even begin to describe it. The confrontation was anticlimactic. The lawyer laid out the evidence cold and hard. Sarah crumbled, tears streaming down her face. Didn't feel a shred of pity, just a deep-seated disgust. The divorce was brutal. Exposed the affair in court filings, let the town know what she'd done. She became the town pariah, the scorned wife. Karma, I guess. The other guy vanished without a trace, probably for the best. Got full custody of our son. He needed stability, away from the wreckage of our marriage. Sold the house, a fresh start for both of us. It wasn't easy, but I survived. Therapy sessions helped me and my son navigate the emotional fallout. Leaned on old friends for support. Slowly, tentatively started dating again. Met someone new recently. She's kind funny, everything Sarah wasn't at the end. Still a work in progress, but I'm moving on. Learned a harsh lesson, but one that made me stronger. There's life after betrayal, and sometimes revenge is best served cold, calculated, and with a killer lawyer by your side. Don't let anyone mess with you or your family. Fight back. That's what I did. The silence after Sarah's breakdown was deafening. No tears, no apologies, just a whimpered plea for forgiveness. Didn't even look at her. Didn't deserve eye contact. The betrayal was a fresh wound, raw and throbbing. But something else bubbled beneath the hurt, a cold, steely resolve. She might have shattered my trust, but she wouldn't break me. No way. Didn't want a screaming match, throwing things. Needed a clear head, a plan. Feigned acceptance. Mumbled something about needing sleep. Crawled into bed on the couch. The image of them burned into my brain. Sleep wouldn't come. Mind racing, piecing things together. The perfume, the late nights working on art, the distance I tried to ignore. It all fit now. A sickening puzzle clicking into place. Next morning, woke up with a newfound purpose. This wasn't about yelling or crying. This was about getting out, getting even, and protecting my son. She'd played me for a fool, but not anymore. First order of business evidence. Started small, discreetly. Downloaded phone records, checked credit card statements. Anything that could prove her infidelity. Built a case brick by brick. Then came the lawyer. Called a friend, got a recommendation. Someone tough, I said, someone who takes no prisoners. He laughed and gave me a number. Met with the lawyer the next day. Sharp guy, expensive as heck, but his eyes held a steely glint that matched my mood. Laid out the situation, the evidence I'd gathered. He listened, took notes, a small smile playing on his lips. We can make her life a living hell, he said. His voice calm but firm. Exactly what I wanted to hear. Didn't care about revenge for revenge's sake, but she needed to pay. For the betrayal, the lies, the disrespect. The following weeks were a blur. Lawyer meetings, digging up dirt, strategizing. Sarah noticed the change, the steely glint in my eyes. Tried talking, pleading again. Ignored her. This wasn't about her anymore. The day the divorce papers hit her was priceless. Shock, then anger, then a desperate scramble. Too late. The evidence was there, cold and hard. The lawyer had unearthed hidden bank accounts. A secret stash of money Sarah had squirreled away from her starving artist act. Livid doesn't even begin to describe it. The divorce wasn't pretty, but it was mine. Full custody of my son, the house sold, a clean break. A new beginning. Away from the wreckage of our marriage. It wasn't easy, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. Stay tuned. There's more to this story. The lawyer called it financial warfare. Didn't care what they called it. Point was, Sarah wouldn't mess with me anymore. Changed all the bank passwords, froze our joint accounts. She could scream all she wanted, but the money train had stopped. We were living under the same roof, but it might as well have been different planets. Slept on the couch, ate microwave dinners. She tried talking, pleading, but I wouldn't give her the satisfaction. The only words that passed between us were the ones relayed through lawyers. The divorce filing hit her like a ton of bricks. Full custody, the house on the market. The lawyer didn't hold back. Then came the kicker. He exposed the affair in the court documents. Public humiliation, he called it. Savage but effective. News travels fast in a small town. The whispers started. Then the stares, then the full-blown gossip. Sarah couldn't leave the house without someone pointing fingers. The other guy in the picture vanished without a trace. Coward. Didn't feel any pleasure in her pain, not really. But there was a strange sense of satisfaction. She'd betrayed me, our family, and now everyone knew. Karma, I guess. The divorce itself was a blur. Lawyers argued. Papers were signed. A judge finalized things with a slam of his gavel. Sold the house quickly, a fresh start for both of us. Except mine would be fresh and clean, hers, well, let's just say the town wouldn't forget anytime soon. Got full custody of my son, the most important thing in all of this. He was confused, scared at first. Therapy sessions helped, along with a ton of patience and reassurance. Slowly we started rebuilding our lives, piece by broken piece. There were lonely nights, of course. Empty chair at the dinner table. The silence echoing in the house. But there were good days too, filled with laughter and board games. The simple joys of father and son. Then one day something unexpected happened. Met someone new at a local coffee shop. She was kind, funny, everything Sarah wasn't at the end. We started talking, then going out for coffee more often. Maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for happiness again. It's been a long road full of twists and turns. But I learned a valuable lesson. Life throws you curveballs, but you gotta keep swinging. Now, with my son by my side and a bright future ahead, I can finally say this. I'm moving on. And Sarah? Well, let's just say she's a chapter in my life that's permanently closed. The lawyer called with an update. A smirk in his voice. Found a little surprise, he said. Turns out Sarah's starving artist act was a bigger lie than I thought. He'd uncovered a trail of secret art sales, hidden bank accounts, years' worth of hidden income. Blood pressure spiked, but the lawyer just chuckled. This changes everything, he said. He was right. With this new evidence, the divorce settlement took a sharp turn. Significantly sharper assets ended up on my side of the table. Sarah? Well, let's just say she walked away empty-handed. Besides the clothes on her back. Didn't feel sorry for her, not one bit. She played me for a fool. Used me as a financial crutch while squirreling away money for her secret life. Now she could reap what she sowed. The custody battle was the toughest part. Sarah put on a show, the devoted mother act. But the lawyer saw through it, and so did the judge. My son, bless his confused little heart, just wanted things to go back to normal. Therapist reports, school records, even Sarah's erratic behavior during the hearings, it all painted a clear picture. The judge's decision was music to my ears. Full custody to me, Sarah got visitation rights but supervised. A bitter victory, but a victory nonetheless. Sold the house, a place filled with too many memories, both good and bad. New beginnings for both of us, I suppose. Except mine would be with a clean slate and a happy son by my side. Hers? Well, the town wouldn't forget her little escapade anytime soon. Single fatherhood wasn't easy, but it was rewarding. School plays, soccer games, scraped knees, all the little moments that mattered. My son was healing slowly but surely. The therapist said it would take time, but seeing him smile again, genuinely smile, made it all worth it. Then life surprised me again. Met someone new at a local coffee shop. She was kind, funny, everything Sarah wasn't at the end. We started talking, then going out for coffee more often. Maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for happiness again. This whole ordeal changed me. More cautious, yes, but not cynical. I learned a harsh lesson, but one that made me stronger. Life throws curveballs, but you gotta keep swinging. And sometimes when you least expect it, good things come your way. So here's to new beginnings, to second chances, and to finally moving on. The road ahead is clear. And for the first time in a long time, I feel optimistic.